Now, the Bram Weinstein Show on Washington's new home for sports, ESPN 630.
Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hey, babies. Hi, everyone. I have so many announcements. Hi, everyone. 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 What's up?
It's a big night at Cap One tonight.
This is a big night at Cap One tonight. The Mystics get Angel Reese in town.
Yes.
First of back-to-back of the new young stars of the WNBA, where all this attention has flooded their league, and some of it ain't so hot lately, guys. But
Right.
and the Mystics haven't won a game yet.
That's also a little bit of a storyline now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So is Kennedy Carter going to cheap shot any of our players tonight?
I do have to wonder how probably frustrating it is in that building right now that they were like, we were too good, like 4 years too early. A little bit, like.
Yeah, they're like, we had Elena Deladon. What happened?
Like, now all of a sudden, like, we would have been hot to trot in this league.
That's right.
And now we're winless.
Winless. Yeah, winless. Again, I don't know why you didn't draft her, but whatever. That's you guys. Whatever. You could have drafted Angel Reese. She's lived in Baltimore. I don't know what you all were thinking, but whatever. That's you. You do you. You tell me that like the person you drafted is that much better. No offense. Like, you would have sold a lot of tickets, a lot of jerseys with her. That's all, period.
Give it a few years and tell me Aaliyah Edwards is going to be an awesome player.
I hope she is. I root for our teams. I didn't understand why you wouldn't take her. She's a star.
Fair
so I don't know
question.
why you wouldn't take her.
Fair question.
All right. So 425, Tim Murray from VSiN is going to join us. Partially because I just want to ask him about where's the sharp money going for the NBA Finals, because obviously he's on VSiN. And he reached out to us because he wants to talk about HFStival coming back. So, we both have goals.
Yeah,
I also need to ask him, what's it actually like living in Vegas as a professional broadcaster? As you know, I have a secret dream of doing that. That's actually been waning through the years, sadly.
Oh, yeah, because Vegas is coming a little too much now.
No, Vegas is gone. The last couple times I've gone out there, Vegas has sold out. And I'm kind of...
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, it's a little much.
It's like the casinos are shopping malls now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, what? Y'all lost your edge.
Yes.
I went out there for the edge. I didn't go out there to go to Lululemon. Like, what are you doing?
I used to get lost in slot machines. Now I get lost in a mall.
I know.
Like,
too much.
There's no signs, but I get lost still.
I'm going to ask him about this. Like, what have you done to my city?
Yeah.
Because, like, I wanted
like
them.
It's him.
Yeah. What have you done? Like, it got too popular, and then it was like they had to appease all the white women that moved out there. Like, it's really, I went out there to have a good time, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens in Vegas doesn't involve me getting Auntie Annie's pretzels and then shopping at the Apple store. Like, that wasn't my goal. So I don't know.
Old man.
Yeah. We're in the Levain cookies showing up there. Must be any day now.
Hashtag not my Vegas.
Not
That's
my
you
Vegas.
over there.
I've been looking for what's new Vegas because I want the action town. That's what I want to end up in. But I don't want action town that also doubles as the Westfield Mall. I'm not interested in that.
Sounds like you need to actually talk to John Walton. John Walton and Ken Saverin made it known when we were out in Vegas for the Cup that they like going off strip.
Well, that's what it is now.
Because they say that's the vibe.
Correct.
There was like the dustier the casino, the better time you're going to have.
Yes. Well, all the people who go out there for the real know this now.
Right. Exactly.
Unless you want to spend the money to be at the Cosmo and spend the premium to have that party. But, like, even that's gotten out of range now.
Right.
So, like, the good party there is too expensive. The rest of it is a mall. So you actually have to go find the dirtiness again. And that's like, that's annoying.
Got to find the grime.
And that's right. And that's where the locals are like, this was our territory. Now they're being sent out to Summerlin or whatever. Right. So I don't know what new Vegas is going to be, but there will be one. And whenever that happens, I would like to join the early stages of that one because old Vegas is starting to bother me a little bit. It's lost its luster to me a little bit.
I mean, it's just commercialized. That's
commercialized.
That's everything.
It's commercialized.
But it's everything.
I know, but everything gets ruined.
Correct. Yeah.
Welcome
to the new world, man.
Yeah.
Why do you think my generation hates everything? It's all the same.
No, but there's always you just have to find the new spot.
Sure, but then that gets commercial.
Of course. I've heard Asheville, North Carolina is beautiful. In 10 years, that place is going to suck.
Over. It used to be Charlotte.
It's gonna suck.
Remember, it used to be Charlotte.
It used to be Austin.
Yeah, right. No,
Austin
my God. Austin is
totally overrun.
Yeah, right.
I had a great time when I went down there, but I was like, oh my God, there's too many people.
Funny enough, I was at a barbecue on Saturday night from someone from Austin, and she was like, "There's really good sushi there," and I go, "Oh, that's when you know you've been taken
You're
over."
done.
And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I go,
Really good sushi. You shouldn't be known for that.
I was like, "Barbecue only, playa," and which
get outta
she
here.
of course said, "Yeah, it's the best." And I was like, "But yeah, once you have a good sushi place, I think that's always your time. Your time of you're taking over."
It's like what old? See, some old city's gonna become cool again. I have a gut. It might be Detroit one day, and then there's gonna be some other emerging town. Like Asheville became this.
I'm not even joking.
Asheville's gotten out of hand, I've heard now. It's just too popular too fast.
Not even joking. The infrastructure has to be put in place, but it's Baltimore.
I don't think so.
I do.
I've thought about that. I don't think so.
I think the infrastructure needs to be put in place. Like, we're talking about some fast trains. We're talking about some real estate help. Like, it's going to take some time, but I actually think because of people here and even Virginia,
if they made it so that it was very easy to get to Washington, like
that's what I'm getting
quickly,
Yep.
then I agree with you.
Yes, that's
but
right.
then it would get out of hand quickly.
It's
up there.
contingent
Yes.
on that. I will say that. But like,
They also have the coldest beer in town, hon.
who doesn't like getting off the high-speed train and going to Pickles?
That
does sound like a dream.
I'm still
Stepping on at Union Station, and 20 minutes later, you got a beer at Pickles. That
I know
does
a lot,
sound like a good time.
I know a lot of people from here that moved there because it isn't that far away and it's way cheaper to live there and it's a fun town.
Yeah.
And they all moved back.
Oh, okay. All right, fair enough.
So off of my non-scientific polling of this, I don't think it's Baltimore yet. I agree with you. The only way it would change is it's got to be some high-speed 20-minute train.
Correct. Yes.
You get on this, it doesn't take any stops.
Yep.
Boom, boom.
Yep.
Like you're there.
Correct.
And it drops you off at some kind of depot near Washington where you can take the metro anywhere you want to go. But that's what has to happen.
No, I agree. No.
Otherwise, it'll never, ever, ever be.
No,
done. This is what happened to Hartford when I lived outside of it. They didn't have a train that went directly to New York. That's the mistake.
Yeah,
that's why that town sucks. If you did that, if you had a high-speed train that was dedicated just going straight to New York, you might have a lot of people that would look at that as an option to live in because it's a nice city, but it's gone to you know what because all this business, whatever. Anyway, I think Detroit could be the comeback city. Honestly, I think it could.
It's the same setup as Baltimore, though. It's got a lot of cheap real estate, but you need the infrastructure to be upheld is what needs to happen.
Yes,
so,
yes. But what's the new like? Austin's already jumped the shark. This is what I'm saying about Vegas. I think it's the last time, a couple times I went out there for the Super Bowl, especially. I walked out of there going, "Oh my God!" Like they've turned this into it's bad. Like the Strip is now Tommy Bahama and Margaritaville, and some of the casinos are very luxurious and they're nice and everything, but they just cater to the wrong situation.
Well, I think no.
Like they're not catering to what I've always liked, which was this is a place you go to have your fun.
Well, yeah, there's families now.
I know.
There's families.
It's just not. And
That's what
then
it is.
I went to one of the parties I went to during Super Bowl week was out at this one place that was a little off strip that I'd never heard of. And we went there and I swear to God, the casino was in a mall. And I'm like, what is this? Like, what is going on here? That's stupid. Like, it's really dumb.
I mean, Hockey Hall of Fame's in the mall.
That's dumb too. So I don't know what the next New Vegas is going to be. I need to figure out what New Vegas is going to be because I think there's going to be the people who like to go out there to party need to have that town again. Vegas also, like when it was built, it was the mob.
Right, exactly.
So there was a danger aspect to
pure
it.
Rat Pack, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's those people must be rolling around their graves going, look what you've done to this.
Yeah, but they were making money. That's the whole point.
They don't care.
As I said, capitalism.
Right. Let's see. All right. So Tim will show up in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
So let me do this story then real quick. So the Lakers are trying to get Dan Hurley from UConn, which is one of the first times I went, oh, you know what? I'm not. I know some people are going to make fun of this because he's a college coach, but I don't think so. Actually,
no.
I actually think if you are going to take a shot on one of the college coaches, this guy is killing college basketball right now. Mm-hmm. He is blowing people out. They've won back-to-back championships in NIL times. That is practically impossible.
Right.
And so clearly he knows what he's doing. Now, if he goes into the pros, is there going to be a massive adjustment? Yeah, sure. But there have been plenty of coaches that have gone and have been high-level college coaches and have done okay. You know, there's plenty of examples that they haven't. But, Billy Donovan is still coaching in the NBA.
Yep.
So I actually, So this J.J. Redick thing was a smokescreen by them. And I will give them credit for letting it be the smokescreen because I've kind of thought that they're rubes that have been run by the LeBron James' son. And now all of a sudden, his name popping up and Woj basically saying they're taking a massive run at him. Like they're going to really crazy. He's making it sound like they're going to overwhelm him.
Yep.
Correct. Then he's not going to be able to turn it down because you just can't turn. They're going to make him the highest paid coach in the league or something like that. It's something in the neighborhood of with a very long deal with a lot of guaranteed money, and it's going to be impossible for him to turn down. And even if it doesn't go great for the Lakers, he can go back to college the next day.
Sure, but I think
the next day he could go back if he had to.
I think that's a part of this, though, is that this is really, truly somebody that is considering this. Mainly, one, it's the Lakers. I get it. Don't get me wrong.
It's the Lakers.
Don't get me wrong. I get it. But at the same time, this is what college sports is now. If you get one of these legit offers, you're jumping ship.
I think
in
you have
a
to take
heartbeat.
it. Yeah,
Right.
I think you have to take it. Like, here's your question. What's like more annoying, dealing with LeBron or dealing with every kid who comes to your office every day with a new demand because they can go into the portal anytime they want?
Right.
That UConn team that won the championship this year was vastly different from the one that was the year before. Why? Because we're in this world where you don't keep teams together. There aren't like teams for 4 years together. You've got to like cobble these things together no matter what. And oh, by the way, if you don't have enough money, then you can't keep the guys that you have. And then there's always the draft that goes along with high-level players too. College basketball is a bad place to be until they get the guardrails back down, which I believe that they will. At some point, they'll figure out rules of the road for all of them to play by, and it will streamline this as much as they possibly can, which will end up being the schools pay the players.
Right. Yeah.
Period. Like, that's what's going to end up happening. I think we're already heading down that path. But once they do that, then everything will be controlled again. And it'll be who has more money than somebody else. That's all it'll be. It'll come down to that. I don't know if I'm him. In this case, like, I wouldn't go for the Pelicans job. But in this case, it's the Lakers. It's LeBron James. They're going to give him more security that is outside of LeBron, whether he's there or not over the next. Like, the only way he can take this is I want a 5-6 year deal. So I survive LeBron James when that is over.
It's their Carberry.
Right.
That's what this is.
Whenever. Right. He's threading the needle. We need an innovative coach who's going to have to deal with some young players and, oh, by the way, handle a massive star.
That's right.
Now, we don't know because college basketball isn't built that way anymore. Is he built to handle LeBron, right? Because LeBron's bigger than him.
Yep.
So is he handled to do that? I don't know. But I will say just hearing this makes me feel a little bit differently about them because, like, they've let this whole J.J. Redick narrative go out there, and the whole time I'm like, God, you guys are getting run over by one dude who's only going to be there for another couple of years, and your legacy is far greater than anything LeBron James has ever actually done there. You're the Lakers. Be the Lakers. And this is the first time they've done something where they go, we're the Lakers.
Right. They're not letting LeBron control it, actually.
Most NBA teams wouldn't get this guy.
Correct.
And, they probably will. If it's out now, it means Hurley isn't turning them down.
That's
Not
right.
yet.
That's right.
So they're going to have to overwhelm them to do it. Good for him. But this was I buy it.
Yep.
I do. I buy it. And I can't wait to hear how LeBron qualifies it if they do get this guy, because there's no way he was the one going, go get me him.
That's right.
No
chance.
way.
No chance.
No way. All right, let me take a quick break. Tim Murray's going to join us next. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630, the Sports Capital. All right, welcome back. Back in the day when I was at 980, I was kind of ships passing in the night with Tim Murray. We kind of crossed over a little bit, but not that much, and I really respected his work, and now he's doing great work with VSiN out in Vegas. You can hear him on VSiN Primetime, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, as Tim joins us now on day one of the NBA Finals. And one of the reasons why I'm gratuitously going to let you share your memories too. We both clearly are big fans of HFStival, which was announced it's coming back. We haven't seen the lineup yet, but I wonder, Tim, are you going to fly home to go see HFStival once the lineup is announced?
I don't know. I was texting with some buddies, my brother, who still lives in the area, and I said I might have to come back. Now, this is they only had it in the fall once. It was the year of '99, right? Because in '99 won, and normally it was around Memorial Day weekend. So I'll see the lineup, Bram.
Yeah.
The fall, as you know, as the voice of the Commanders, and for me, doing what I do. The fall's always a tricky time to get away, but maybe exceptions can be made. But I haven't heard your memories. I was texting with Callow a little bit. Callow a little too young to go to the HF festivals, but man, it was it's funny and sad, Bram, because I remember doing a segment, I think filling in for you maybe a year or two ago, and it was when RFK had that brush fire or something like that.
No, it was a lightning strike. I said this yesterday on the air. It was a 2-day concert. I was not at the day there was a lightning strike. I was at the other day, but there was a lightning strike that occurred at the whatever that was. Yes.
Yeah, and I was like, my best memories, I'm 36 and I grew up in the area, born and raised. My best memories of RFK Stadium have nothing to do with the football team. It is it is HF festivals.
That's where we diverge, but go on. Yeah.
No, I know. And that's the thing. And that's what's so sad about our generation. I mean, it's not like I'm, some young pup, right? It's like I grew up with that football franchise, and I remember going to a couple games at RFK Stadium. But no, it's pretty cool. Hopefully it's a good concert. But yeah, it brought back some serious memories, and thinking back to some of the bands that you saw on the up and up, man. Like seeing Linkin Park when their CD first came out, and things like that. It was. Everyone went to it, man. Everyone, you bumped into so many people you knew at HF festivals.
Yeah, the RFK for me, because I'm 51. So RFK for me, I was lucky to have tickets when I was a kid. So the football team was a religious experience going to see that. It's hard to explain to anybody who isn't old enough to experience it that's why this area is so in love with them. I mean, it was a religious experience. And then there were the concerts, and that is a different experience that I'm trying to wash away from my mind, because there's all the, did I pass out at the Dead show and not even get into the stadium? Maybe, maybe not. What was HF Festival really like at RFK? I'm not really sure I can remember to tell you about it, So like RFK has a jumbled amount of memories for me in my lifetime, for sure.
I still remember, though, the days before the internet, right? Like, you'd be listening to the radio, and like every hour they would tell you, oh, this artist is coming and this artist is coming. And, so those are the fun days of radio. But yeah, I mean, I even went to one of the HF festivals at Merriweather. They had a couple installments there way after the fact, but it always, for me, RFK Stadium was the one that always kind of hit home. They had a couple, I think, at FedEx. They had one or two at M&T Bank or PSI Net or whatever they were calling it in the 90s, but it was always RFK. And I go back and look at some of the groupings of bands that were there. I mean, it's wild. I mean, hell, I didn't go to this one, but Jay-Z was there, Eminem was there. Obviously, the Foo Fighters have played it. Like, it was just a who's who. And the cool part was, before Good Charlotte kind of became Good Charlotte, they were always there. You knew Good Charlotte would always be on the, on the local stage, and, bands like that. So, no, it was always fun. And, the funny thing is, I still remember, Bram, I don't know if you were still in town at the time, but I remember the day the channel went away.
Yeah.
I was in high school. I think I was a senior in high school, and I went out to my car for like lunch or something like that, and it had turned to a Spanish station. Like, what? Yeah. What just happened? I thought it was a big joke. I'm like, no way. Did HFS just go away?
HFSA Festival was happening now. I know. It was funny. We were looking through the band list yesterday, and like, to your point, like, it was like Jay-Z and then followed by the Pixies. And you're like, you almost can't believe they were on the same card, but like, that's how eclectic it was. And it really was amazing. So I'm glad to see it. But now that you're in Vegas, though, I mean, it's not like you're lacking for entertainment. So this would be a nostalgic move for you if you're going to come back here and see this.
Yeah, it definitely would. I mean, we're fortunate and blessed out here. And, speaking of the HF Festival, I think Hoobastank, who I'm sure has played the HF Festival a couple of times, they're doing a free concert like right outside my work tomorrow. So, we are we're certainly spoiled out here in Las Vegas. But the funny thing is, I haven't gone to a ton of events out here in Vegas. I've fallen into, it's like, I don't know, when you live in New York and you're like, hey man, do you ever go to the Statue of Liberty? You're like, no, never go there. So I don't know. I've missed out on some of the big time events here in town. But no, I'm curious, man. I'm really curious about what the lineup's going to look like. So probably very nostalgic, but. For people our age and, from the 30s up to the 50s, I'm sure are all going to be waiting to see what this lineup's going to look like.
Yes, a lot of middle-aged white guys are psyched.
A lot of middle-aged,
really
yes.
Psyched
they'll be flooding those metros like we were back in the late 90s to get down to RFK.
That's right, ladies. We'll all be there. Okay. All right, let me ask you about Vegas. I want to get into the finals with you in a minute.
Yeah.
But look, I want to ask you about Vegas. How long have you been living out there now?
I'm coming up on 4 years.
Okay.
So, I when the pandemic hit, I started negotiations almost immediately, and I moved out here in August of 2020.
Okay. So Callow knows this. I've had this, this dream of retiring out there or moving out there at some point and living out there. And the last few times I've gone, this doesn't feel like the place that I remember or dreamed about moving to. It's turned into a giant mall with a lot of casinos in it. And it's starting to get off-putting. And I don't feel like it's the place that I dreamed about moving to. So what is the reality of living in Las Vegas? Because I don't think it is what it was anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you think of Vegas. It's growing, man. It's a massively growing city. Tons of folks from California have moved into Vegas over the recent years. Obviously, we've got the Golden Knights. We've got the Raiders. We're going to get an NBA franchise. Apparently, we're getting the A's. That doesn't really get anyone excited. But no, I think, if you're going to be a local, right, if you're going to move here and be a local, you're not living near the Strip. I live in Henderson, which continues to grow. And that's kind of the unique part of where I live is we've got an arena down the street from us where the AHL team plays. Some of these local casinos are kind of where, the locals, so to speak, go. But yeah, I mean, I think you kind of have mixed thoughts of Vegas. And I'll be honest, right now it's 110 degrees and it's miserable to walk outside. And that's, it's record-setting heat right now. It gets 115 on the regular in the summertime. So I wouldn't really necessarily recommend moving out here in the summertime for that. But, I think there are really cool neighborhoods. The Summerlin area, for those familiar to this area, has a really nice casino, has some new restaurants. So, but it's growing, man. I mean, there are massive casinos and, things down on the Strip. I'll say this, one thing that you'll get to enjoy living there in D.C. is they have a lot of traffic. So, you won't miss out on traffic. They're always constantly construction on our highways for some reason. So don't really understand that. But I guess that's not true. We have tons of folks who have, moved here to retire, but I've never really heard someone say, I want to retire in Las Vegas. I'm a water person, so I want to get to either the West Coast or the East Coast for retirement. Now, hopefully live here for many, many years, and the contracts keep flowing out here, Bram. But I need water, man.
You like water.
The short drive to LA or the short flight to LA is really nice. It's like a 45-minute flight, 4.5 hour drive. So that's nice. I mean,
you like water.
You like water. The family, we'll walk them around.
Well, that's the family. We'll see. Like you like water, and I like looking at hot girls and playing poker. So
if you like playing poker, there's plenty of places to play poker. Obviously, come down to the casino where my studio's at, Circa, and we'll get you set up at Stadium Swim. The scenery's pretty solid. I'll just say that.
Yeah. All right. All right. Let's jump into your expertise here. All right. Night one NBA Finals. I mean, everything I see seems to almost prohibitively have the Celtics as a favorite to win the series, and in most cases, not a very long series. So, what's just your kind of general take on where the money is right now on the NBA Finals?
Yeah, this is really fascinating because you mentioned I'll look at the series before we get into tonight. So the series price is Celtics minus 220 For those new to the gambling world, that means you have to put up down 220 to win 100. Obviously, that's fractional 22 to win $10, whatever, however you want to look at it. And then the Mavericks are the underdog, right? They're around plus 180, plus 185. And Bram, what's been interesting is that, if you turned on ESPN or, Fox Sports 1 or whatever, you would think that this is a pick'em series. I mean, that's the way people are talking about this particular series. And, we've had a number of people jump on my show that are maybe not as analytically based, and they don't understand this price. And to put this into perspective, which I think was pretty surprising when I went through the history of the NBA Finals. So there's a website out there, Bram, called Sports Odds History that has the odds for every NBA Finals since 1988. So, a span of, 35 plus years there. And if the Mavericks win this series, they would be the third largest underdog to ever win the NBA Finals. And I think that's pretty jarring considering we just saw this Mavericks team beat the Minnesota Timberwolves as an underdog with Luka Doncic, who is arguably the best player, not only even in the series, but maybe the best player in the world. But it is pretty wild when you think of that from that standpoint, where they would become the third largest underdog in the NBA Finals since 1988. The other two, the Pistons in 2004 when they shocked the Lakers, and then the Raptors in 2019 when they beat the Golden State Warriors, albeit with the injuries to Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. The Cavaliers that beat the 73-9 Warriors were not as big of underdogs. Very close, but not as big. And then I thought this was even more surprising. The 2011 Mavericks, who are thought of as this, oh my God, they pulled off this stunning upset over the Miami Heat. They were a plus 155 underdog. So this Mavericks team is a bigger underdog. And I think what I'm trying to get to is the Celtics are really good, and people have kind of overlooked that factor. They're 76-20 on the year. Yes, their road to the finals was helped out with no Jimmy Butler, with Jared Allen being out of the entire Cavaliers series, Donovan Mitchell missing the past couple of games, and then Tyrese Halliburton obviously gets hurt at the end of the Pacers series. But
yeah, and it also helped them that Milwaukee didn't have Giannis and couldn't advance, and the Sixers were injured and couldn't advance. So they had a very easy road, but they shouldn't be punished for that. Yeah.
Also, their fourth best player, third best player, Kristaps Porzingis, didn't play since the first round. So it's also, they haven't been dealing with the full deck of cards, and they're getting him back. So it's not just solely based off of the Vegas odds. I think it's also the fact that Kristaps Porzingis coming back, and I'm assuming health, which is a big assumption, but everything that I've read and heard from him says he's ready to go. He just brings a different dynamic where he stretches the floor. He's going to bring out Gafford and Lively into uncomfortable spots. I think it's going to open up the middle of the paint much more than what we've seen in recent series. So I like the Celtics. What I did, and there's a lot of different ways, Bram, you can bet, obviously, the NBA Finals. So a couple different avenues that I think are interesting. So you could go Celtics minus 1.5 games, meaning they have to win in 4, 5, or 6. That's even money at DraftKings. You could go the double outcome, which is a bet that I've made, where it's the Celtics win tonight and the Celtics win the series, and that's minus 130. And then you could just lay the flat-out price, which is around minus 215. So all three of those, I think, are good bets. If you want to bet Jason Tatum to win NBA Finals MVP, I certainly think that's worth a look, even though, obviously, Jaylen Brown just won Eastern Conference Finals MVP. The last thing I'll say, Bram, is this. If you want to bet the Dallas Mavericks, and, hey, man, go for it. I'm not. No one shoots 100%. I definitely don't. Could the Mavericks win this? Absolutely. What I would do, just bet Luka to win NBA Finals MVP. I do not see a reality. And if this happens, clip it and put it on Old Takes Exposed. But I do not see a reality that the Mavericks, Bram, win the NBA Finals and Luka is not NBA Finals MVP.
Yeah. You will get
Kyrie's
a crazy
awesome.
price on Kyrie. You'll get a crazy
Kyrie's
price
awesome.
on him.
Yeah, he's like 20-1. He's awesome. He's really good. He's playing very well right now. But the stats that he puts up, this is voted on by people. You got to remember that. Like, the Mavericks aren't winning this series without Luka being superhuman. And he's been that a good chunk of this postseason. And you're getting about an extra 30 cents, depending on what book. So instead of plus 180, you're getting around plus 205 or so. So if you're looking to bet the Mavericks, don't go for it, but I would go and bet Luka instead of the Mavericks.
Okay. I want to have you on soon. I know I have to let you go here, but I want to talk to you more about just working at VSiN and how it shaped your view of sports at some point in time at a later date, but I know you got to run. So can we do that at a later date? I would appreciate it.
Bram, anytime. And I would. I certainly would love to get into the discussion of with the most recent player betting on sports, how sports gambling is warping the minds of everybody and it's ruining the world.
Tim, thanks for taking the time today, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate it, Bram. See you guys.
All right, that's Tim Murray. You can hear him on VSiN primetime, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern time. All right, we'll take a quick break. Bram watch the show, ESPN 630, Sports Capital. Let's see. The Orioles lost today to Toronto 6-5. They were down 6-1 in the eighth. Adley Rutschman hit home runs from both sides of the plate today. Made it 6-3 with his second home run, which was a 2-run shot. And then in the ninth, Ryan O'Hearn hit a pinch hit home run to make it 6-5. So things got interesting, but they fell to Toronto. So they ended up splitting that 4-game series, and they're heading to Tampa next. The Nationals are going to play Atlanta tonight, starting a 4-game set against them. Jaden Daniels is actually going to throw out the first pitch on Sunday at the Atlanta Nationals game. Victor Robles. It's here. And Victor Robles made his debut with the Mariners today, and the reports are it has not started well.
Let me give you the tweet here.
Yeah, it hasn't started well.
This was Adam Jude, who writes for the Seattle Times. Just going to read you the tweet from 45 minutes ago. Victor Robles drops a fly ball in left field in his first defensive chance with the Mariners.
Oh, man. God, I feel bad for the dude now. Now I feel bad for the guy. I'm like, first one. Good Lord.
You want to hear some of the replies?
Yeah, sure.
That's enough of that. DFA him now.
Oh.
Is it possible to have a worse start?
No.
Cut him.
Cut him.
And then the follow-up from Jude was he was looking directly in the sun, yes, but that's obviously a play that has to be made.
Yeah, well, aren't you always looking directly in the sun when you're trying to catch a fly ball?
Well, it is an afternoon game out there, so yeah.
Right. Have you seen the 6 names that are up for the Utah hockey franchise?
Yes.
Now that they have moved from Arizona and they are going to change their name.
Yes.
Here are the 6 names, and I will end on the one I love the most. Okay. The Mammoth is, to me, last place. Because to
last place, really?
Well, to your point, that shortens to what?
Oh, okay. Good. Okay.
Isn't that your thing?
I got
the Mams? The Moth? What does that shorten to?
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
So I don't like that one.
Okay.
I don't like the Venom.
I'm out.
It feels like that's like the Mighty Ducks. Like, are we going to have another movie name here?
Yeah, no, I'm out.
I'm out on that one.
Yep.
I like it better than Mammoth, but I don't like it. Okay. The Blizzard, which makes sense. But again,
you can't do it though.
You shorten that to what?
That's fine.
The Blizz?
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, that's fine.
Nobody beats the Blizz.
That's funny. I don't think you can have them in the Avalanche though. That's too close of
the
like
Blizzard
a
and the Avalanche.
Yeah,
that's weird.
Icy thing.
Yeah.
That comes down on
we can't have the Blizzard and the Avalanche. I agree.
Yeah.
And they should be rivals since they're going to be regionally close to one another.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree. The Blizzard's out. So now we get to the 3 that I like. Okay?
I know 2.
I know the one I like the most.
Okay.
And the one that I'm going to lean into because it just touches my heart.
Of course.
But the one that got the headlines was the Yeti.
Yes.
Which,
okay, so that's the one I like the most.
You like that one the most?
Yes.
I don't like that one the most. That's number 3 on my list.
So I like
the
that
Yeti.
one. I like that
if they end with that, I won't be upset about it. The others I don't think are good. The Yeti at least is different, and their mascot will be crazy looking.
Well, and it's also a mascot that is not in American sports. I think that's important. It's hard to find one of those now. Where
the Yeti?
Yeah.
Well, nobody knows if it exists.
Correct. Which is fine.
Right.
The Seattle's the Kraken. That's not a real thing. That's a thing of legend, just like the Yeti. So I kind of like this, that we're going into kind of like, I don't know, like methodical realm.
Yeah.
I like the Yeti. I think
so. They're
going to
do like promotional videos where it's going to look Blair Witch Project, where they're looking for the Yeti.
Yes, exactly. Be fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm all in on the Yeti.
I'm all right with the Yeti. Like of these 3, I don't care as long as the other 3 don't happen. I like these 3. All right. The one I like the most that's a name is the Outlaws.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
I think that's a good one. I like the Outlaws.
Yeah.
I love Now, they're weird with colors up there, so it's probably going to look dumb,
What?
but I do like the Outlaws a lot, just as a name.
Yeah.
I think that's great. It's an old Wild West thing. I love it. Now, it's weird in Salt Lake City where you really have to play by the rules.
Yeah,
like in
that's
another,
what I don't understand.
In Denver,
Yeah.
the Denver Outlaws would have been a great name, like an old Westy name. So I'm kind of down with it, though, just as a name, I like it.
Yeah, like I'm all in on that one. I also think it's kind of a shot at Vegas too. Like, how'd you guys not take this name?
Yeah.
Because that should really the Vegas
Outlaws.
Outlaws should have been it. I think
Yeah.
that was an XFL team, but like
Yeah.
who remembers that at this point?
Right.
I can't believe you're going with the one as your favorite.
Well, no, it's just touching at my heartstring. It's not my favorite, actually. It's just touching at my heartstrings because one of the 6 is Utah Hockey Club.
Utah HC.
I mean, come on. How do we not tip the cap to, all right, we're the ones that took all of the bullets for anybody who wants to think about doing something like this because we got made fun of.
Sure.
Remember?
Yeah.
Like when they first did it, and then it actually turned to becoming cool
Right.
after a while.
Correct.
And then after the other outcome, people were wondering, why did we actually get away from that if that's what it was going to be? I don't think they're going to do this for the same reason that that we didn't end up doing it. I think the NHL wants them to have a mascot name.
Yes.
So I think that's the way it's going to go. And if the fans vote for that, I think they're going to lie about it and they're going to pick something else. But I was like, tip of the cap to you, Utah, for doing Utah Hockey Club, having lived Washington football team, and ended up, in my opinion, actually liking it.
Yes. People, well, and it was also because they stuck with the old branding at the,
Yes.
for most of the old branding.
Because they still look like
Yeah,
the Redskins.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes,
Right,
exactly. No, they can't go Utah Hockey Club. I'm sorry. They can't.
Could they be the Utah Redskins? Could they?
Utah Redskin Potatoes.
That's right there, Han.
Maybe
Maybe they could be the Red Wolves.
Utah
should have
Red
thought
Wolves
about
does
it.
have a good ring to
There
it.
you go.
I think I like
Oh, Bram, I'm gonna be a Utah hockey fan.
I like Yeti, and I think I have to. I know it doesn't shorten, but I like Yeti and Mammoth. I think some kind of ice creature works here.
I don't like Mammoth. I don't like it because to your rule of it has to be shortened. I don't like Blizzard. I agree with you about it. Should not be the Avalanche versus the Blizzard.
Can't do
That's
that.
ridiculous.
And
I don't like Venom. Venom is just a movie name.
To be
It's
fair,
dumb.
the Utah Blizzard against the Carolina Hurricanes in
Yeah.
the Weather Bowl. It's actually
Yeah, that's pretty good.
a good one. Actually,
That is pretty good. I hope they go Outlaws. If they do Hockey Club, I will tip the cap to them for doing
buy,
so.
buy a
I'll
Utah
buy
HC
Yes.
T-shirt.
And then Outlaws, I'm like, I hope you guys get the branding right because it's a great name.
Yep.
So
Correct.
let's just see if you get it right, or are you going to do dumb color schemes like you're doing with everything else?
See, I think
don't
Yeti.
know.
I think Yeti would work.
Maybe. Let's see. The Mystics do play the Sky tonight. I didn't get to this. Maybe I'll talk about it tomorrow. But apparently somebody had to be separated here from
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
People, grow up.
Little ridiculous.
Yeah, come on.
What are we doing
Like,
here?
yeah, I wasn't happy with what they did with Caitlin Clark. I've been yelling about it too. I am not saying go charge their team bus, you idiots.
Yes. Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Like,
Ridiculous.
stop.
What are we
stop.
doing? What are we doing
Right,
here?
stop. All right, NBA Finals begin tonight. You can actually hear Game 1 right here, ESPN 630. What time is the tip-off tonight? 8?
Tip-off is
8:30?
8:30, so 7:30 pregame. And as you know in the NBA, 8:30 probably means 8:45.
Yeah,
probably.
something like that. Right.
Realistically.
Okay, let's see. I'm with Tim Murray here. This is what I've come around to. I do think Boston's going to win this series. I didn't realize how prohibitive of a favorite they were. I think people are just kind of dismissing what's happened because of the road that they had, but they've had it really easy also because they happen to be really, really good.
That's right.
So I like Boston to win in 5 or 6. That's what I think. It probably 6 because they'll probably do it at home. But that's what I think it's going to be. Luka probably wins a game, maybe 2 for Dallas, but I just don't see it. And I'm going to go with Jaylen Brown as the MVP. I think he's the best player on their team. I know he just won MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. And part of it is I saw that plus 700 number and I went, that's what I would take a shot on because if it's not going to be Tatum, it is going to be him. So that's where I would go with something like that. Give me Boston in 6 and Jaylen Brown wins the MVP. And then First Take asks the question, is now Jason Tatum so jealous of him they can't play together anymore?
I'll shorten it up even a little more. I'll go Celtics in 5.
Yeah.
And I'll go Tatum MVP.
Tatum
I'll just go
MVP.
A little chalky there. But
All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Bram Weinstein Show, ESPN 630, the Sports Capital.